Before you watch, some context. Back in the time of the last Discord, Nova was adamant that no minors were present in the server. Not even a day went through before Novine Leaks, also known as Solidus Nova on Twitter, posted this screenshot, proving it was not true. And now, a month later, Solidus had an interview this same exact girl.
So, let me make a voice note because this is like way too fucking long to type out. So what happened was is that I was friends with him for almost 3 years, or like about 3 years. So I was 14, turning 15 when I became friends with him, and he used to play Fortnite on Twitch. He doesn't use Twitch anymore, but he had a Twitch account, and I used to play Fortnite with him. Like, he would invite me to play, and we were playing Fortnite, and he asked me, "Hey, can I have your Discord so like I can text you better?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." And the only time he would text me is to hop on Fortnite, and I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And this is before I saw like the weird stuff about him or whatever, and I was like, "Okay, whatever," right? Fast forward, um, he like got, I guess, like that account. I don't know what happened to it, but he got a new account, and um, I added him on his new account because he told me to, and then he wasn't talking to me. He was low key like telling me, "Oh, fuck my life, I hate my life," blah blah. But then he wouldn't respond to what I was saying to him, or when I would reply back to him, he would just low key just, "I fucking hate my life. Fuck my life. Like, I wish I died." And then I would respond like, "Why? What's wrong?" And then no respond until he'd be like, "I fucking hate my life." And then I'd be like, "Why? What's wrong?" Ah. But then he was having a contest of like in his server. He was trying to make like have a contest, see who could make the best merch, right? And I sent him like, "Hey, this is like what I think will be a good merch for you," and it was really cool. And he told me that he was going to use it, but he never used it to make merch. But then later on in our friendship, he would like we would play games and we would do this and that, right? But then he was telling me like, "Oh, I fucking hate my life." No, it's fine. And then he'd be like, "Oh, I fucking hate my life." And then I'd be like, what's wrong?" And usually he wouldn't respond. But that day he was like, "Oh, it's just the trolls and stuff. They're saying mean things about me." And I was like, "Why?" Like, blah blah blah. And he was like, "Well, they're saying I talk to little kids." And I was like, "They think you talk to little kids? Like, what?" And he was like, "Yeah," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, it's gonna be okay. Like, everything's gonna be better. I promise." Blah blah blah. "And everything's gonna be okay. I know, blah blah blah, it'll be okay." And he'd be like, "Oh, thank you." And then he wanted me to join a voice call. And I never joined a voice call with this guy besides only like voice chat in Fortnite. And he was talking to me and he was like, "I'm sad. I wish I had a hug. I wish I could hug you." And I was like, "Really?" "Oh, okay." And then I'd be like, "Yeah, but I'm," how old was I? Like 16? I was like 16. And I was like, "Oh, I'm 16." And he was like, "Well, I'm not being weird, am I?" And I was like, "No, it's just a little." And so, like, that was happening. And he was telling me, like, "Oh, you're making me regress." And I was like, "What's regress?" And he was like, "Oh, it's where I just go back to the state of being a little kid. You make me feel like I want to be a little kid again." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because you're such a mommy." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, you're such a mommy. You do this and you do that. And you comfort me when I'm sad." And I was like, "Well, I'm just being a friend." And he was like, "Yeah, but it's more than that." And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of weird." Whatever. And then he was like, we were then I started seeing the videos on TikTok, and then I went down a rabbit hole of Nova, and I was like, "Wait, all of this makes sense." Like with the diapers, and when he would talk to me, he would use like the baby voice, right? And so I went on a rabbit hole, and I was like, "Wait, so the guy that I consider a friend actually is not doing, like, he's a weirdo." So then I was just curious because I was like, because I was just dead ass curious. So I was asking because I seen videos about his binky, and I was like, "Oh, let me just ask. And I was like, do you have a binky? I think I've seen a video about it. And he was like, all these fucking trolls, they say they have binkies, blah, blah, blah. I don't. And I was like, do you? And he's like, well, I do. And so he showed me his binky and he said that he like sucking on it, reminds him of being a baby. Or he like would hold a stuffed animal and he would turn on his camera and be like, I wish it was you, wish it was you. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, I'm getting uncomfortable. And I was telling him I was getting uncomfortable. He was like, you think I'm a weirdo? You think I do this? You think I do that? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And then he sent me, because he said that my voice was relaxing. He says that I think it's personally annoying, but you know, whatever. But he was saying that my voice was relaxing and that like he could fall asleep to it. And then he sent me like this thing of like his favorite ASMRs, and some of them would be like, "Mommy gives you a hug, mommy gives you kisses," and he would tell me that he wanted me to like, I guess, make one for him because he was so much of a mom, like I was so much of a mother or a mommy, I guess, which is weird. But I have a lot of screenshots of text between Nova. I have videos of him showing me his binky and stuff like that, which I'm very 100% like. I made a TikTok post about it like not that long ago, but it got like no views, and I stopped being friends with him. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not gonna be your friend anymore, and I stopped being his friend. I like I unfriended him. I didn't block him, but he low key was like using me for a little bit, like, you know, it was just felt worse because it was like, you know, I was like, when he was getting diagnosed with like depression, I was his friend and he was telling me while he was at the hospital, like getting diagnosed with depression and like anxiety and stuff like that. And I was there making sure, like, I was like, oh, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Right. But then when he started like doing the Nova Core, or when he started like more food reveals and stuff like that, he started being more of like rah 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 rah. He kind of just like stopped talking to me, and I would be like, Nova, like, what's going on? And he'd be like, fuck everybody. And then he started doing the thing where he'd be like, fuck my life. And then he wouldn't respond to me. And I was like, you know, Nova, I'm gonna stop being your friend because one, you're making me uncomfortable. Two, you're using me because I'm nice to you. And three, he'd be like just asking me for weird stuff. And I was like, dude, I'm just not gonna be your friend anymore.
The Chin universe is rapidly expanding, and now, we have memberships and super chats. Consider joining us to have access to 4 brand new emotes, and member-exclusive shorts showing how they get made. Thank you so much for watching and helping the channel grow this fast, and I'll see you on the next video.